Now let's go to AWS console and perform hands-on for envelope encryption. So step 1 is creation of symmetric key. Go to KMS dashboard and navigate to customer managed keys. Click on create key. Under key type select symmetric, and we are going to use for encrypt and decrypt. We can also select origin of key material. If we use KMS, it will use KMS HSM module. However, we can also use dedicated cloud HSM module or external options. But for now, let's go with KMS. By default, KMS key is single region key, but multi-region also available. Then put some alias. Let's call it learn. And it helps to decouple your application code's logic from KMS key lifecycle. So one key can have multiple alias, and same alias can be reattached to another key also. So for now, we are giving this key as a learn alias. Later, if we want, we can delete this key and use same alias with some other key. But in code, once we code learn alias, we will always use learn alias. Then click on next, and it will ask to select key administrators and then key users. For now, let's not select anything. We will come to permissions later. Click next, and then this is the default key policy. Default key policy grants all KMS actions to the root users. What it means that now AWS IAM can be used to add access for this key to any user or role. Click next, review and finish. Now we have this new key with alias as learn. Since I am logged in as admin user, my user have all access to this key. Coming to this workflow, step 1 is done, key creation is done. Now to perform envelope encryption, we need to call GenerateDataKey API and get plain text data key and encrypted data key. So let's do it. For AWS CLI commands, instead of installing AWS CLI locally, let's use this CloudShell. Since I am logged in as admin, in CloudShell also I will have those permissions. And for commands, you can check this GitHub repo. Right now, code is not here, but I will add it later. For now, let's take it from this blog post. Let's go to CloudShell and generate data key. But before that, let's create a text file that we will encrypt. So I will use nano test.txt and let's put hello KMS in it. Then ctrl plus o and ctrl plus x. So this is something similar to what happens when we upload object in S3 bucket. So when we upload object in S3 bucket, what happens in S3 server is that it generates data key, it encrypts the object, and then it keeps encrypted object and encrypted data key. Something similar we are going to simulate here as well. Now I have my test file. Let's create data key, and this is the syntax. AWS KMS generate data key, then key ID and key spec. So for key ID, either we can pass like key ID and this thing, or we can use alias. So when we use alias, we have to put like this alias slash whatever is alias name for this key, and then output is saved in datakey.json. Let's hit enter and then do cat datakey.json. Here we can see that we have plain text and ciphertext blob. So this ciphertext blob is encrypted data key and this plain text is data key. If we see here, so this is encrypted data key, this ciphertext blob, and this plain text is data key. Now let's run these two JQ commands to put these keys in their respective files. There is typo. It should be like this. So what these two JQ commands are doing is they are reading datakey.json and from there extracting data key plain text from plain text and then data key encrypted from ciphertext blob. Now since we have both version of data key available, we can delete data key file. At this point we have plain text data key, encrypted data key, and our unencrypted text file. Now let's use OpenSSL utility to encrypt our file from here to here. And what it is doing is that it's taking input as our test.txt and it will give output as test.encrypted, and password is taking as data key plain text. Let's hit enter, and now we have four files: plain data key, encrypted data key, plain text, and encrypted text. Now at this point we do not need test.txt, which is an encrypted text, and also we do not need plain text data key, this one. Now from a S3 perspective, at this point we can store these two in the disk, and things are done until we want to receive our text back. So we are done with step 2, that is envelope encryption. We successfully encrypted our text. Now let's see how to do decryption. So for decryption, we can use data key encrypted, and from data key encrypted, we will get plain text data key that we will use to decrypt test.encrypted. And I forgot to show content of this, but right now it's looking something like this, which means nobody can read that it's hello KMS. Now let's call Decrypt API to decrypt our data key. And this is the command AWS KMS Decrypt. In ciphertext blob, we have to pass our encrypted data key. In output, we want plain text, and we have to pass region as well. Then we will do base 64 decode and store it in data key plain text. Let's hit enter. And here I got error that this resource do not exist in this region, and reason behind this is that right now I'm in US East 1 region, and here I passed AP South 1. So let's correct it. US East 1 and hit enter. Done. Now we received our data key plain text back, and this step is done, means all this is done. We passed our encrypted data key. AWS HSM recovered HBK and nonce, and HBK created data encryption key, and then data encryption key decrypted our encrypted data key, and as a response we got our plain text data key. Now since we have plain text data key, we can use OpenSSL utility to decrypt our encrypted message or text file. Let's run this command as well, and here if we see, it's taking input as test.encrypted file, output it will give test.decrypted.text, and password it's taking as plain text data key, similar to last time. Here we got new file which is test.decrypted.text, and if I try to read it, we got hello KMS. So we successfully performed envelope encryption and decryption, and something similar also happens in AWS S3 bucket when we upload objects in it. Now, one more thing is that if we have a small text file or object that we want to encrypt and its size is less than 4 KB, then instead of doing GenerateDataKey API and then encrypting using OpenSSL, we can directly call Encrypt API and pass our file as input, and it will return, or KMS will return encrypted file to us. So it's like these steps still will be performed, but KMS will handle it. So let's try that also. Here only I could have done Encrypt API call from beginning, but I just wanted to demonstrate how GenerateDataKey API works. For now, let's remove everything from here. And let's create new file. Let's put I am small than 4 KB, CTRL plus O, and then CTRL plus X. Then copy this command. And command is AWS KMS Encrypt. Then again we pass key ID. And this time we are passing our plain text as well, which is myfile.txt. Output we want text. And query we are doing ciphertext blob. Region we want AP South 1. So let's remove from here and all the way to here. Let's see what happens if we do not pass query as well, and I will correct region this time. It is US East 1. So this is the output that I got, and it contains this big encrypted text and KMS key ID. So to get in proper format, we pass query as well. And when we pass query as ciphertext blob, then we will just see encrypted text like this. This symmetric default and this extra key ID is removed, and then we can save it to file.encrypted. So let's copy and append this at the end. Enter. Now I have new file which is myfile.encrypted. Let's see its content. This is the content. Now let's decrypt this file, and for decryption we will use decrypt command similar to last time, but here instead of sending encrypted data key, we will send encrypted file itself. Again I will correct the region and enter. Error is there. Let's run this much only. I got this, and then it's giving error base 64T. Let's try base 64. I haven't have any decode here. Okay, so looks like there was issue in copy pasting. Now it's working, but with -d only. It not worked. Let's try again. It's working. For some reason, when I copy pasted, it gave error, but now it's working. So that's how AWS KMS handles envelope encryption. Now let's uh, now let's see how AWS KMS can be used with S3 bucket and Lambda function, and also try to understand how permissions work in AWS KMS.